Through these shores came ships carrying more than trade. They brought a language that would change India forever.
Before it became the language of Indian classrooms, offices, films, and global conversation, English arrived in India as the language of empire, a foreign tongue, a tool of power, a symbol of colonial rule. But history has a strange habit. Sometimes, the language of the rulers becomes the voice of the people. This is the story of Indian English, a story of resistance, adaptation, identity, and transformation. Our journey begins in the 17th century. British ships arrive on Indian shores, not only carrying goods, but carrying a language that would one day reshape the nation itself. At first, English belonged to traders and colonial officers. But in the 19th century, everything changed. The British introduced English education in India. Schools and universities emerged. A new generation of Indians began learning the language not by choice alone, but by necessity. For some, English became a path to employment. For others, a path to awakening. Indian thinkers soon realized something extraordinary. English could be used against the empire itself. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru used English to speak not only to India but to the world. The language of colonial authority slowly became the language of Indian nationalism. And then came literature. Indian writers began shaping English with Indian emotions, Indian landscapes, Indian rhythms. The language changed. It absorbed Indian culture, idioms, philosophies, and storytelling traditions. Writers like R.K. Narayan brought Indian towns and ordinary lives into global literature. Mulk Raj Anand wrote about inequality and social injustice. Raja Rao blended Indian spirituality with English prose. For the first time, India was not just learning English. India was reinventing it. Then came independence in 1947. The British left. But English remained, not as a colonial weapon anymore, but as a bridge across hundreds of Indian languages, a bridge between India and the world. As decades passed, Indian English evolved further. It entered Bollywood, journalism, advertising, politics. Technology and literature exploded onto the global stage. Writers like Salman Rushdie, Arundhati Roy, and Amitav Ghosh showed the world that Indian stories could no longer be ignored. Indian English became bold, hybrid, musical, a language carried both ancient traditions and modern ambition. Today, India has one of the largest English-speaking populations in the world. But Indian English is not simply British English spoken in India. It is something entirely its own accent, its own expressions, its own identity, from colonial classrooms to global influence, from imposed language to powerful voice. The rise of Indian English is not just a linguistic story. It is the story of India transforming history itself. Because in the end, India did not merely adopt English. India made it India.
They brought English to rule India, but India transformed it into its own voice.